So, the state capture report recommending law enforcement agencies and the NPA to now quickly look into investigating cases of corruption and fraud at SAA, SAA Technical and SA Express. Justice Raymond Zondo ordering the NPA to recover lost funds from those who benefited illegally from those deals at the airlines. SA Express under scrutiny at the state capture inquiry as well for questionable contracts and suspicious payments. We unleash our Heidi Giokos to break down what's happening with the findings. Hello again to you, Heidi, at what is SA Express, I understand. There's a lot to talk about, and I think so many people interested in what you have to say about this, because you've covered SAA and that saga in such detail. Now we have the report to go with this, but how is the Northwest government involved?
Yeah, I mean, when I read this, I was telling Tumelo earlier on, I actually had to go back and read again because I couldn't understand why the Northwest government would be involved in all of this. But when the state capture inquiry decided to investigate into SAA, they decided to also look into SA Express because of allegations that the Northwest provincial government was also involved. And how this all started was there was a deal or an idea to revamp some of the airports, and the Northwest also decided, okay, well, let's revamp, let's bring in more flights into the Northwest, let's try and get the markets up. And this is when SA Express got involved. Because it's a state-owned entity, they decided, well, this is the preferred bidder, not actually going through proper procurements and going through proper due diligence to make sure that SA Express is the actual airline that deserves to be part of this deal. But basically what the Commission has found, and I'm going to read this part where it says, the Commission did an investigation into allegations that high-ranking officials in the Northwest provincial government had colluded with functionaries at SA Express to siphon millions of rands out of the Northwest provincial government's coffers in order to benefit themselves, their families, and the ruling party. So this is something that we're seeing throughout just part one. So I can't even imagine what the rest of the parts are going to look like, where individuals are benefiting themselves through state-owned entities and provincial governments and not allowing state-owned entities to provide a service to South Africans, because that's what state-owned entities are there for.
Of course it is, and that's just part one of part one about this. I'll tell you why I say part one of part one, because apart from the money being siphoned out for preferred bidders, we know the issues in the Northwest, don't we, when it comes to service delivery and other issues. Imagine where that money, if not siphoned out, could have been used in other things. You know, for example, service delivery, schooling, sanitation, housing, the list goes on. We cover these stories all the time, so I'm sure that's where those questions are going to come from. Can we just bring in, it was then the acting DG, Job Mokgoro, implicated in all of this? Just remind me, because I'm getting a bit lost in all of this.
So we do know that he was the acting Director General in the Premier's office at the time that this deal was implemented, and many questions were raised as to why he allowed this deal to go through, why millions of rands were signed off, why a 5-year contract with SA Express was signed off yet the services weren't being rendered, and SA Express was just a preferred bidder because it was a government-to-government deal. That's how the state capture report identifies this particular deal with SA Express and the Northwest government. But we're going to listen back to when Job Mokgoro actually was at the state capture inquiry, and he was asked, but why did you sign off this deal when you could clearly see the red flags, when you could clearly see that this deal was not supposed to happen, that just because SA Express was an SOE and it's a government-to-government deal doesn't mean it's ethical, doesn't mean it's the right deal to happen. And he said, why should I have been the one to pick up that the payment was wrong? I was just the acting DG. So let's listen into that.
It was you who had to authorize that payment. Do you accept that?
I don't, Chair, because there is a contradiction here. I mean, if I'm the accounting officer, why should I be expected to be the one who's overseeing procurement? It doesn't make sense.